Hello, readers. This is Vekin87 here. I didn't think I'd ever say that out loud. I don't think I've ever said that out loud, actually. I can't prove that it's me. Obviously, there's no way to do that. It should become readily apparent, though, as I discuss the series and with some pretty crazy trivia about the Harry Potter series. I'm making this video for a few. Is this on? Actually, this is. Okay, this is going. This is my first ever smartphone. Actually, I don't really record things all that often. I don't have the flash on, so I don't really have a good idea of what's going on here. But anyway, this is a video that I'm making. This is an extremely impromptu video. I did not wake up this morning thinking that I would make this video. Still a little surreal that I am making it, but I'm making this video for a few reasons, and I'm making this video so I can give you guys excuses. Let's be fair here. There will be an array of excuses in this video, but more so than that, I'm making it to apologize. To apologize and to keep you guys up with what's been going on, really, with the series, with War Within, with what my expectations for it are. I hope that you guys are getting a good view here. The first apology that I need to make, really, this is to anyone watching this video that knows what it is, like didn't just like click on it and is like, who's this kid? Like anybody who's actually watching this video and who knows what the Albus Potter series is and who knows who I am, who Vekin87 is. If you're watching this and you are even vaguely aware of what's going on, then I owe you a tremendous apology. I really do. I owe you a few apologies, but the first one is I owe you guys an apology for lying. You know, more so than anything else, and this still hurts really, is that I lied to you. I lied to all of you. I lied to you back when I was writing Silver Wizard, I think it was. And the lie that I told was, I told you that I wasn't going to write anything else until I was done the Albus Potter series. Because at the time, I really did think it. You know, I really hadn't considered that things would come up in my life where I would sort of change what I wanted to write about or change what was important to me. And it did happen. And I'm very sorry for that. You know, I finished Fortress of the Dead, I think at the end of 2011, going into 2012. And I told myself I would take just a few months hiatus, as I normally do. If you've been with me from the beginning or from around the time of like Dragonfang Wand or whatever, you would know that I do generally take hiatuses between stories. And this hiatus wasn't supposed to be any longer than any other. There were a few things that happened. I mean, I tried transferring over to university. I was at a community college. I had a handful of things going on. I started working night shift, which didn't help with my writing patterns. I started doing a few things that were really getting in the way, but I thought, that's okay, because once my designated hiatus period is over, I'll just get right back. I'll just start banging out Albus in the same way that I used to, because I used to do like 3-4 chapters at a time, really, throughout a week. I mean, I never expected to kind of lose that touch. I mean, I still remember, when I was writing Dark Alliance, I think it was chapter 22, the choices that we make, which, if you recall, it's a pretty important chapter. And I wrote that all in just one sitting. Just me, a bowl of ice cream, dark house, desktop computer, and it was like 20-something pages on WordPad, just straight. And I thought that would happen again. I did. I thought that, once my hiatus period was over, once I was done doing whatever it was I was doing, it would be that easy to write about Albus again. And it turned out that it wasn't. And I'm just going to check one more time if this is still going. Okay, so this works. This device works. Where was I? Yes, I'm deeply sorry for lying to you all, because what happened was during this hiatus, it's not so much that I lost all of my free time, it's that my free time became separated. It was that instead of having 3 or 4 days off to do whatever I wanted, I had a few hours here and there where I could do whatever I wanted, and it just wasn't enough to sit down and write 20 pages. And a lot of the things that Albus is the only third person kind of long narrative thing I've ever written. I generally write short stories or like the one-shots. I generally write poems. And in the original work that I was doing, it was similar to the one-shots. It was, 7-8 page chapters, and it was very easy to do just in between classes. I'm done class and I'll go down to the library, at my school, and I'll just bang out a quick chapter real quick. And I didn't expect that to take over my life, but it did. I wouldn't feel as bad if I stopped writing completely. Because what did you want me to do? I couldn't write, But I do feel bad that I just stopped writing Albus. When I could have been allocating all of that time towards Albus, I was allocating it towards my own work that was only for me, work that only I was going to be reading, work that I had in my head for a while, and that I'd been postponing for a while, and I just couldn't hold on for one more book to postpone. That's really the first huge apology that I owe you guys. And the second one is for just leaving the community, really. Without getting too much into it, I was really just afraid the series got so big. Just thousands of readers from different countries, and I couldn't have imagined it ever when I first sat down to write, The Sorting, when I was 15 or 16 is when I first wrote that first chapter. I couldn't have ever imagined that. And the series got so big, and there was, it was a nice kind of pressure. It was, oh, I can't wait, for you to put out this next book. But it was still pressure nonetheless. And the more that I became ingrained in the community, I put up some personal information about myself, and I made like a forum thing and a Facebook page. These things were more for you guys, so that you could discuss the series without, because I saw a lot of, there was a lot of conversations going on in the reviews. People would, they would talk back and forth, and I thought, why not just give them a place where they can do this, where they don't have to buff up my reviews, so to speak. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I wanted you guys to be able to speak about these things more freely. And I guess that the expectation there was that I was going to be involved, which is a very realistic expectation. And, during that just excruciating hiatus, this hiatus that's still going on, I took a step back from it because I was afraid of what I was going to see. I was afraid that I was going to see comments like I'm seeing now about you guys feeling abandoned, which is a pretty realistic. It's a pretty correct term. I'm seeing a lot of people now. Just today, I decided to kind of investigate, to look, to see what was going on, and it really was upsetting. And I should have been more upset at this earlier, but I postponed it for as long as I could, and I just can't postpone it anymore. I know that I have a lot of readers who are feeling abandoned. This is an extremely impromptu video. I think I may have already said that. I don't know. This video is being made because I just had a very powerful urge to tell you guys what's been going on, and to just let you know that, yes, you were abandoned. You were, but the story was not. To me, the Albus series won't be abandoned until I've decided I don't want to write it anymore, or until I've decided that, or until I can go to sleep at night and not think about it, which hasn't happened yet, not once in these many years since Fortress of the Dead have I stopped thinking about Albus. Have I stopped thinking about the series. I did abandon you guys. I absolutely did. I abandoned you because I thought that it would be better for me, that if there was less pressure on me, I would feel more comfortable with my hiatus, and I could start using it to get back to Albus. And that's just not what happened. It basically allowed me to eschew responsibility, and it really messed a lot of things up. And I feel really bad about that now. I really do. So again, if you are even dimly aware of what this video is about, I owe you a tremendous apology. I really do, for abandoning you. That's not all that this video is, though. I'm hoping that this becomes made clear. War Within is not abandoned. It's really not. And I know you guys are like, oh my gosh, just let it die. We'll make our own ending. But it's really not abandoned. It's never been abandoned. I have the story in my head. I had a lot of notes on my old desktop computer that just died on me, and we never backed it up. I have a laptop now. There was a lot of things that Albus had going for it, and then my own idiocy and just a couple random occurrences really did dig into it. But the series is in no way canceled. I have every intention of putting out book 7. My fear really is that no matter what I put out, you guys are going to hate it, because you're going to think that, oh, this wasn't what his original plan was. This book is so far away from the other 6. But that's not really the case. War Within was always supposed to be a different book. It's not formulaic. It's very fast-paced. It's going to have a lot in common with how the latter half of Fortress of the Dead was. And I'm just going to check if this is going one more time. So, okay, it is. This is a long video. Holy crap. Anyway, War Within, it is different than the other books, which is probably why it's been so difficult to start it, is because I haven't had a starting point for it. You know, I mean, I have things written here and there. I have, you know, a few chapters done out of order, and, you know, a few scenes written down. I was writing a certain part maybe like a month ago, just because I'll get into that later. But I realized just how different this book was, and this book is different by design. It's not like I forgot how to write Albus. I'm never going to forget that. It's just that book 7 was always supposed to be a little different. You know, there's no segues. There's no, November went by in a whirlwind of homework and kisses. That's done. That's dead. That's not in the Albus. That's no longer part of the Albus Potter series. This is a very fast-paced book. This is a very dark book. Generally there's a day or two between chapters, if any time passing at all. It is supposed to be a very fast-paced book. It's supposed to be a very fast-paced book, and it has been difficult to start writing it. You know, to really crank down and start writing it. But something pretty cool has happened. You know, in the last 2 months or so, I started thinking about the series more. I've started writing dialogue in my head, and I've started thinking of jokes that the characters would say. And I started really putting effort into the middle portions of the series, just in my head. And that's not going to seem like anything to you guys, because it's like, well, what were you doing for 2 years, you know? But it means a lot to me. It really does. It means that I am ready to get back into the series. I don't know if I'm going to be able to answer every single piece of fan mail handed out to me, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to get this video to reach all of my readers, of which there are many. Really, if I can ask anything of you guys, is to pass this video around. If you have friends that have read the series who aren't on the Facebook page, or who have stopped checking the fan fiction page, please send this around. Dude, I really hate attention. I really didn't want to do a video, but I do owe it to you guys to prepare you for what I do think will be the year of book 7. And I don't mean you're like, oh, December 31st we're gonna come out. I mean, I really am trying to crack down on it. I really am trying to build up a schedule around it. What's pretty much happened has been, I finished all the original work that I wanted to do, and this is the longest I've ever went without writing anything, and I'm ready to get back. And it's like, why not Albus? Why not? Why can't I just dive back into Albus? Maybe if I could just write like a chapter every 2 weeks even would be better than the pace that I've been doing, And then I still want to put out the book as a whole thing, as a whole entity. So that is still the plan. I don't want to give you guys a specific date, because that has backfired before, and it will surely backfire again. But I do want to let you guys know that what you're seeing here of me doing this video, this is the closest that you've been to book 7 in the last 2 years. It's the closest that I've been to book 7 too. The issue that I've had, people have been saying that, we've been abandoned, the series has been abandoned, and that's a very justifiable term. It's a very realistic thing to say. It's very logical. But I feel like you guys don't really know. I mean, you think that this series is important for you, and it may well be. Far be it from me. But this series is extremely important to me. There aren't enough words in my vocabulary that can really articulate just how important this series was to me and remains to me. I don't want to turn this into some kind of sob story. Is this still running? Yeah. I don't want to turn this into some kind of sob story, and like have people like comment. Ideally, if there were no comments on this video, that wouldn't bother me, so long as it was being passed around. But I do think that you guys deserve a little bit of background on what the Albus Potter series really is for me. I grew up in a fairly dysfunctional household. I'm not gonna get into the specific events and play the blame game, and it's fine now, really. I mean, I've actually moved out. I'm living on campus. I did transfer to university, but when I was in high school, I had a very loud household, both both of my parents were and still are addicts, and not just like nicotine addicts, though they are also addicted to cigarettes, but addicts of drugs that can make things kind of loud in the house. And I don't think that there's any real way to explain this, but other people who have grown up in this situation, which is a very common situation, this isn't like oh, you poor thing, that's so rare and that's so, I've heard about that, I've never seen it, but I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with this situation, or really just any situation where it's a dysfunctional household, where you'd be surprised what kind of sounds you get used to. Like you'd be surprised what you learn how to sleep through. I mean, yelling, glass shattering, windows breaking, just thumping upstairs, just physical, activity going on, just all around the house. And really the only option you have is to, and I couldn't leave, I was in high school, so it was either, turn up the volume on the TV all the way, or do something that's going to block out the sound, or escape. And for me, the Harry Potter series was that escape, as I'm sure it was for many of you who have a sort of profound relationship with the Harry Potter series. For me, it was a huge escape. I could sit there in my living room and just I read Order of the Phoenix. Order of the Phoenix was 870 pages, U.S. edition, and I read Order of the Phoenix in probably like 9 hours. It was around there because I got the book at like 6 p.m. and I was finished by the next morning. So I read that book really fast. I just remember sitting there reading it with just all this crap going on around me, yelling about divorce and and stuff like that, and just just someone threw a pickle jar at someone else with pickles in it, just all kinds of crazy crap happening. And so the Harry Potter series was a huge escape for me. And when it finished, it was like, well, what do I do now? And just an offhanded comment from a friend got me invested in the idea of writing my own series, the Albus Potter series. And Albus did way more for me than Harry ever did, because it gave me the incentive to get up. When you come from that kind of household, there's not a lot of talk about your future. No one ever pressured me into college or to higher education or just working to entering the workforce. No one ever told me to get out of bed. Oftentimes I'd wake up at like 6 p.m. and I'd be like, well, I might as well go downstairs, watch The Simpsons and have dinner, and I'll just go back up to bed. That's really what my life was for, I guess, from the ages 18 to 20, and for a good portion of when I was in high school. High school was a reason for me to wake up, but I often just slept through it. I wasn't the best student in high school. Not that I'm advocating that in any sense, but the Albus Potter series became a pretty tremendous escape for me. It was a way for me to. It was incentive to wake up in the morning. I can't tell you how many days I woke up and I looked at the clock and it was like 5 p.m. and I wanted to roll over, and I was 19 years old, and I didn't know what day it was. It could have been Monday, it could have been Thursday, and I didn't know what day it was. And I told myself, you have to wake up and write. You have to finish this scene. People are asking for this next chapter. You have to do that. You have to get up and you have to do something. And Albus is the only thing that gave me that incentive. Without being too dramatic here, without really delving into the specifics of it, I think it's fairly accurate to say that the Albus Potter series really saved my life, as did you guys. Because there were a lot of times where I just didn't want to get out of bed. Really, there'd be no way for you to know this from reading it. And I think I may have said things in author's notes just about how bad my household was sometimes, or just how difficult it was to write. But really, the thing that I needed more than anything else was to know that if I stopped getting out of bed, someone would notice. Because there were times when I thought that nobody would. My parents weren't going to. And they're actually doing better now. Once I leave, they get their act together and they're doing great now. But at the time, you guys, all of you, again, anyone who has any idea what I'm talking about, you need to, if you're watching this now and you understand what's, and who I am, and if you've read my series, even if you've never left a review, even if you've never sent me a message, even if you've only ever just read in passing, you need to give yourself a huge pat on the back because you absolutely saved my life. You did. You were part of the statistic that let me know someone would care if I stopped writing, and if I stopped getting out of bed. And I'm gonna check this one more time. We're at like 20 minutes. Okay, I really need to speed it. I thought this was gonna be like a 5-minute video. I don't know how this happened, but yeah, the Albus Potter series was, and my fan base, your support has been huge for me. And what really happened was, as I left my house and I started going to university, I started engaging in just regular activities more, and activities more befitting of an adult. I didn't need Albus to escape anymore. I could escape on my own. I could go to different people's homes. I'd go over to my girlfriend's house for 2 days, and then I'd go to school. I had places to go, and I didn't need Albus to escape anymore. And that's one of the most frightening things for me about War Within, is just that it'll be the first Albus Potter book that I've ever written, and I do absolutely plan on writing it, as I've already said. It'll be the first Albus Potter book I've ever written that I don't need to write to escape. It'll be the first book that I'll be happy as I'm writing. And I think that some of my other books were good. I think The Dark Alliance is probably my best one, but I wasn't happy when I was writing it. I was 19 years old. I was a wreck. Albus Potter and The War Within will be the first book that I feel compelled to write out of joy for the series, not out of needing it. It's not my crutch anymore. And that I feel awful saying that, because I know you guys don't see it that way. For you guys, Albus, it's not an escape from something. It's something that you enjoy, and it's something that you guys have really been looking forward to. And it may be a little difficult for you to hear that, but I do think that you guys should just know that the reason I can't give up on this series is because I feel like it was all for nothing. I feel like I just couldn't do that to these characters who are completely fictional, but I couldn't do that to a series that, along with you guys, really did help save my life. Again, I'm not really exaggerating with that statement. And I've become really revitalized with the series. Before the other day, I woke up and I asked myself, I'm like, what's the name of the other kid in Albus's group, with Dante Hegg and Scorpius and Morrison? And it took me like 10 hours to think of Bartleby Bing. Like 10 hours. I was watching ESPN and I'm like, Bartleby Bing, that was his name, and it excited me that I'd actually cared enough to think about that, and there's one thing I can ask aside from that you guys pass this video around. It's that you be patient, as I know you've already been, but it's also that you be a little forgiving of any minor continuity errors, because I'm not gonna lie, I haven't read my series in a while. I fished around through it for certain things, but I don't remember what color Donovan Hornsbrook's eyes are, and I don't know exactly what's going on with Anastasia Annifer and some of these characters. They're not really that central to Book 7 in my head, so there's a very good chance that they'll be scarcely mentioned in Book 7, and that just, obviously, if you guys have any questions, I will be able to, it should jog my memory, I should be able to tell you what's going on with these characters after the series, in the event that any of them survive. But, just ignore that comment. It's gonna be a pretty dark book, actually. I'm still, the book hasn't changed that much in my head. There are a few minor changes that I've made in my head, because I think that it just fits better. But overall, Book 7, as is in my head, is not that far of a departure from where it was 2 or even 3 years ago, or even really, I've had Book 7 in my head since I wrote Dragonfang Wand, So, I have a few apologies to make, and I've made them, and I know that they're not sufficient. I really am sorry, and I know that that's not sufficient, but I still feel compelled to say it. And one of the other things I can just ask is that when this book does come out, and I plan on having it out this year, I plan on having it out earlier than the end of the year, actually. I do have a specific margin for it. I'm doing a little bit of math in my head, which I'm awful at, but, trying to think if I can do this chapter in this time frame and so forth. I mean, I have to account for editing and everything, but I just want you guys to be a little forgiving of any of the minor details that have been left out, or any of the, like, wait, you never explained what happened to this, and it's like, well, it's really not that important though. I mean, there's a lot of main things that are going to happen, but I'm afraid that some of the minor plot lines I've been working on may be slightly dropped, not because I've forgotten them. I haven't forgotten them because I just forgot them. I forgot them because they were largely unimportant in the first place, and I just want to rededicate myself to the bulk of the series, really. So to the bulk of the book, to the very main plot lines. I really don't know what else to say here. I'm so sorry. I know that there were other ways to do this. There really were. My brother had said to me, my brother's my editor, if you guys recall that. He said to me a few years ago, like 2 years ago, he'd said, why don't you just give them crap? Just give them crap. Just, write something that's, not that good and put it out. And I was like, well, I don't want to do that. I don't want to give them. I mean, I kind of already gave you guys crap with Dragonfang Wan. You've kind of already seen just how bad my writing can be if I'm that preoccupied. And I told myself, no, I don't want the end of the series to be that much of a letdown. And I realize now that may have been the wrong choice to make. You guys probably want closure more than you want something good. And I have picked up on that. And my aim is to give you something of both. I don't think that War Within will be my best book. It was never really supposed to be. It's very much the conclusion that follows the climax that was Fortress of the Dead. I don't expect it to be my worst book either. I don't expect it to be my longest. It was never supposed to be the longest. It was supposed to be around the length of Silver Wizard or Phallus Book maybe. And that is, what I still have planned for it. At least in terms of chapter length. In terms of word length, it will probably be a little bit longer. Just the more I think about it, it's supposed to be kind of a short book. Like, Phallus Book wasn't that long compared to some of the other stuff I've been writing, So, and if War Within is anything close to it, which I expect it will be, I really have no excuses to not get on it. These excuses have largely been small excuse after small excuse that's just sort of concatenated into this whole big thing about, well, I just don't have time for Albus anymore, or I just, I don't have the effort anymore, and that's just not the case anymore. Like I said, recently I've been thinking about dialogue and things along those lines, and I am very excited to return to the series. I already have a few pieces that I can work with, and I am excited to just to get back into writing. I can't promise that I'm going to be able to answer all of your guys' emails and messages and things along those lines, but I can promise that this book will come out. I'm fairly certain it will come out this year, and I'm fairly certain that it won't be towards the end of the year. It won't be one of those things, where I just give you guys crap on at the end of December. I am fairly certain that I'm ready to get back into Albus, and I know that a lot of you don't care, and that's okay, and I deserve that. I really do. I absolutely deserve that. I know that a lot of you don't care about the series anymore. I'm sure other people have finished Albus Potter series by now. They've gotten all 7 of their books out, and that's great. If you can, if you can become invested in those series, great. I'm sure that many of them are very good. But I know that a lot of you guys may not care, but for those of you who still do, I don't want you to give up yet. I don't want you to still feel as abandoned as you were, that you may very well still feel abandoned. And I want you guys to know just how important the series is for me, really. I had no intention of telling you guys everything I'm telling you now, but if this is the only video I'm ever going to give you guys, I wanted to have truth in it, and I wanted to mean something. I want you guys to have a good understanding of how difficult this has been for me, as well as for you. It's not like I've just been sitting here just laughing like, oh man, those guys still expect book 7 to come out. This has been pretty rough for me as well. And hopefully we can commiserate a little bit, and we can both kind of feed off of that. And I can give you guys a series conclusion. I can give you guys a final book that you will be proud of, that you will enjoy, that will give you that closure that you probably need from this series. It will obviously still be uploaded to fanfiction.net. I've had people send me messages saying, should we do like a payment thing, like a PayPal thing? That's kind of ridiculous. Nothing I ever write really will ever cost any money. I have a different career in mind for myself. I don't plan on making money off writing. I don't think I'm good enough at writing to make money off of it, which is it's kind of frightening that people have offered to pay me. If you want to pay me, just do something nice for someone. Really, we need that in the world more than we need to give me money. I'll be okay. I've taken out plenty of loans. I mean, I owe Sally Mae like my soul. so I'm living very comfortable right now in this dorm. So don't worry about that by any means. I would never do that. A few other emails have talked about it coming out in parts again. I still expect it to be published all as one big thing. That just makes the most sense for me now. But I do expect Albus Potter and the War Within to be out this year. I expect it to be very similar to what my original intention was for it. I expect my writing to be better, actually. I've started using commas for like dialogue from when I was writing my original work, so that may be a bit of a departure for you guys from, the awful way I was writing beforehand. But this just looks so much better. I can't stop now. So I have started using commas in the dialogue. I'm very sorry. I really am. And I hope that you guys can, even if you don't forgive me, I hope that you guys can still pass this video along so that others might be able to, and just so that people can become a little bit prepared. Hold on one second. I think I just got a text. I don't care. Okay. Can become a little bit more prepared for the series to reach its end. Because I'm ready to write this book. I really am. I don't know if it's not like I'm gonna stop this video and then like just go away and hack at it and get this thing out. But I do plan on continuing and writing and finishing the series. And I hope that I hope that you guys will be satisfied with what the conclusion is. Again, this is Vekin87 here. I'm thanking all of you guys for your support, for your tremendous support, even in the darkest of times. Really, the support that you've given me, and I just hope that I can make this up to you. I hope that I can give you the conclusion that you guys wanted, and hopefully after this, I won't feel as bad about writing original work, and I can give you guys that original work too, a lot of which is already completed. So that's probably going to do it. I think I've been talking for like half an hour now. That's pretty crazy. I hope YouTube will let me upload this. I've seen like Vines that are like 2 hours long, so I'm assuming I can. But that's pretty much all I wanted to say. It's pretty much all I feel like I needed to say. This is taking a huge weight off my shoulders, really. I used to not want to do a video or to really show what I looked like or any information about me. But I don't really care anymore at this point. It's been too long. This hiatus has been too outrageous for me to care about myself anymore. So by all means, pass this around. Really, I don't even care. The more people that know about this, the better. This is one of the few times where I don't mind having a huge fan base to do that. People would, like, my dad would always be telling people about, like me writing fan fiction. I'd be like, Dad, shut up. I don't want people to know who Vekin87 is, who's writing it. I don't even care anymore. I really don't. So by all means, pass this around. And I hope that you guys I hope that this video has helped you. Even if you just fast forward to the last 2 minutes of it, I hope that this video has helped you guys with that feeling of abandonment that you have. And I hope that you guys are ready, and I hope that you guys are still excited for Albus Potter and the War Within. I really do. And again, I'm sorry. I really am. I really am sorry. I can't state that enough. And I'm thankful for all of your support. I'm thankful to anybody watching this video right now who cares. And I'm hoping to do you guys proud. I really am. The first 6 books were for me, and I want this book to be for you guys. I really do. I want this book to be for you. So, just again, I'm sorry and thank you. And I hope that you guys are excited for book 7, because I am, and it's the first time I've been able to say that in a while. So Vekin87 out. I hope you guys are having a good day, a good Thursday. It's Thursday where I am. I know my days now. So I hope that you guys are doing well. And again, I'm just hoping that you guys enjoy the book when it does come out, and it will be coming out. Mark my words. So, Vekin87 out. Nice talking to you guys. First time ever.